The government is expected to dispatch additional COVID-19 vaccines to the state soon in a hope of inoculating between 50,000 to 100,000 Malaysian workers. Johor Mentri Besar, Datuk Hasni Mohammad.said that the move would pave the way for the reopening of the two land borders with Singapore to daily commuters, mainly workers, either in May or June this year. Hasni said the reopening of the border with Singapore was vital in helping to spur the state's economy, as it has almost been a year since the border crossing were closed in March 18 due to the pandemic. He also said that the Science, Technology and Innovation Ministry would be handling this matter and would be supplying additional vaccines to Johor to help inoculate these workers.
This is, I think, Tuanku punya birthday gift to the rakyat of Johor. The MOSTI, Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, has set up a special program for Johor with the intent of opening up the border. Meaning to say that probably the federal government will import more vaccine so that those that have to work in Singapore, they can get vaccinated earlier. Between May and June would be a possible date or time for the border opening.
So that means those who have been fully vaccinated get to go and come back daily travel?
Yes.
He said the vaccination for Malaysian workers to Singapore would be done in stages, as there were about 400,000 of Malaysians who travel daily.
Well, it has to happen in stages, but I think in total, if we are looking at 400,000 of Malaysian crossing over to work, then that is the number that we require, to be vaccinated. But it is over a period of time. So,
but at least by June, at least about 50 to 100,000, is that a realistic figure?
Yeah, yep. Well, I think it only makes sense if it is meant for both. After all, I was made to understand that Singapore is also using Pfizer as the, so do we. For our first, second batch, it's all Pfizer. So we think using a common vaccine type, then that would make the understanding about border crossing much easier.
He advises those working in Singapore to quickly register themselves for the vaccination and show proof of employment over there when the time comes.
I might also suggest that, schools, children who is studying in Singapore or Singaporeans studying here in Johor Bahru, to the colleges, that they are able to use the same SOP, not just workers.
The state government has already sent its proposal to Putrajaya to open up a third category for cross-border travel with Singapore.
For as long as two countries can recognize the SOP that include the vaccination certificate, as I mentioned earlier, so that also meant for Singaporean coming into Johor or Johorian who is residing in Singapore coming back to Johor. So it works both ways.
Yeah.
As of March 8th, Singapore has vaccinated close to 400,000 people. Of this, more than 220,000 have received their second dose and completed the full vaccination regime.